Welcome back to another episode of the Next Level Minds podcast. My name is Chris Chapman, and I am your host. And if this is your first time tuning in, then this is a podcast dedicated to those who really want to reach a next level in their faith, family, fitness, finances, and just embrace the American freedoms that we have in this great country. The way in which we do that is by interviewing guests, entrepreneurs, founders, people who have been very successful in different career paths, and really talk with them how they have gotten from point A to point B and overcame various setbacks and adversities along the way. We also do solo episodes, which this is one of them. I posted a story on Instagram the other day and asked if you all would like to see some more solo episodes. So that's actually what today's episode is. It's just a little solo episode that I'll be recording here, really with the goal of adding value to each and every one of you. But before we dive in, my main goal with this podcast is really to impact over 1 million people. So if you have not done this already, take the time to subscribe to Next Level Minds on Apple Podcast. And also take the time to share this episode with a family member, friend, or colleague if you think they'll get some value out of it, right? The way the show grows, the way we all get better is by sharing personal development related content, whether it's books, podcasts, etc., with others. And I want this podcast to be a vehicle just to help impact everyone around us. But on to today's episode here. I'm going to be talking about just a recap from 2025, right? We're about 6 months, about 6.5 months, 7 months or so into 2025. And I just wanted to recap a couple of my wins and the learning lessons behind them. And I also wanted to recap a couple areas that I'm lacking in and a couple lessons behind those as well, which I usually do this every single year, but I usually do it privately. And I figured, you know what? There's a lot of value in extracting some of these learning lessons. So why not share it publicly in the hopes that maybe someone listening will get some value out of it? And also, I would highly encourage you all to do two things. One, keep a wins folder on your phone. Like I have wins, I'm scrolling right now all the way back to like 2021. I think I even have like some stuff from 2020 and 2019 in a separate note here. But the beauty of this is when you have an off day, off week, off month, which that's life, you're going to have setbacks, adversities, failures. You can go back into your notes folder and say, okay, like, let me just randomly look at my 2023 wins, right? I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 wins in 2023, which is like 2 years ago, right? But looking at it, it's like, wow, like I was able to do all of this. Like that gives me a lot of momentum. So I'd highly, highly, highly suggest keeping a wins folder. And any wins that are important to you, like career, financial, relationship, whatever items are most important to you, put those in that wins folder. But that's the first thing. The second thing that I wanted to add here is take the time to extract learning lessons like I'm about to do today from some of your wins as well as some of your losses and see if there's some commonality. So, for example, when I do XYZ, this win happened. When I also did XYZ, this win also happened. But then when I do ABC, that might be the reason why I lost this particular situation, right? So having that notes folder is extremely helpful, but also the self-awareness side of things, of extracting the lessons behind the wins and the losses, right? So all that said, let's dive in here. February 28th, I believe, late February, Jacqueline, my wife, and I found out that we will be parents coming up in November. We're having our first child. Super excited about that. Definitely huge blessing. Our life will change a lot in a number of different ways, but we are both tremendously excited. That said, really not much learning lesson behind receiving this news in February, other than just having patience and not having fear. And the reason I say that is because it didn't take too long for us to get pregnant, right? But it definitely just didn't happen like snap of a finger right away. And I think sometimes when things don't happen right away, it's just important to have patience and understand that it's part of a bigger, broader plan out there, right? Honestly, thankful that we didn't get pregnant like right away, because then the kid would be being born like probably right about now. And honestly, summertime is literally my busiest time with work, the podcast, traveling. Like I'm like, huge blessing either way, but man, like middle of summer would be super hectic time, right? So now November's perfect because my business starts slowing down a good bit right around like early Thanksgiving all the way to the end of the year. Still got to grind, still got to work, right? But it's like not near as busy as summer, right? So everything works out how it should, but it's important to have patience and it's important to have perspective in the overall plan. April 5th, I believe, I beat my personal best for the bridge run, which for those of you who don't know what the bridge run is, it's just a 10K run in Charleston, South Carolina, where you essentially run over this beautiful bridge, great views, all this stuff. But yeah, I beat my personal best by a couple minutes. And honestly, the extracted learning lessons there are just, figuring out a goal and then figuring out the habits, routines, behaviors, kind of training steps, if you will, that you need to take, right? So when I did this run in 2024, like definitely did good, broke an hour, but I'm like, okay, like I know I could have done better. So this year, what I did is started training earlier. I did more miles. I actually ended up doing like a half marathon distance as part of my training, which is 13.1. And the bridge run is only 6.2 miles. So when I was running the bridge run and I was getting a little tired, I'm like, wait, like I've literally done over double this distance before. Like I can keep going. I can actually get faster, right? So I think the learning lesson here is just like, if you have a goal, implement what you need to implement, especially from a fitness perspective, put in your training, do the work, all that great stuff there. April 6th, 2025, bought my short-term, midterm dream car. The reason I say short-term, midterm is because it definitely has been my dream car for like the last 10 to 15 years at least. But honestly, like I would love to have a super nice Porsche or super nice Audi or, super nice high-end Mercedes, but don't really think it's the smartest move right now at 29 years old to drop, 150 grand on a super nice luxury vehicle. So my short-term, midterm dream car, really since I was in high school, was a 4Runner, right? And I had the opportunity, April 6th, 2025, to buy my dream car, which was a 4Runner. Love the car, been driving it for months so far. I mean, literally every time I jump in it, I'm like so freaking excited. And I was telling somebody today that like every time I get in the car, I'm like, man, hard work truly does pay off, right? But the learning lessons behind this car honestly has a lot to do with visualization, right? Like I have been visualizing this car ever since I started getting into visualization and meditation and all that great stuff, really for the last like 5 years or so, right? So the way that I pictured driving out of the dealership, into the driveway, all that stuff, like literally was exactly how it happened in my mind, right? Because the way things work is success happens in your mind first and then in real life, right? So learning lessons here is like figure out what you want, obviously number one, but also spend time visualizing what you want through vision boards, through meditation, through spending a couple minutes before the day starts and just visualizing like the car you want, the house you want, the job you want, the business you want, anything you want. Spend time visualizing it over and over and over again, and then back that visualization up by just daily action and execution, and you will have that dream, insert whatever it is, the house, the car, the boat, etc. Shortly after that, went on the Winner Circle trip for the company I'm in sales for, which basically Winner Circle is like this awards trip if you hit a certain sales criteria. It's basically geared towards the best salespeople in the company. So super blessed to have hit that trip. It's definitely very tough to do so. But same thing as the dream car, right? Like I visualized this trip. I visualized the suit I was wearing at the awards dinner. I visualized like getting off the plane. I visualized stepping into the hotel with Jacqueline, my wife, like all of these things, right? And it came true exactly how it was drawn up in my mind. But also another learning lesson here outside of the visualization is what gets measured equals performance. Meaning I wrote down the sales number that I needed to hit this goal to go on this trip. And every single day I would look at this note that I created on my computer of how I was doing, how far I was away from it, what I needed to improve, what I needed to do differently, what was working, what wasn't working, all this stuff, right? And so if you have a goal, especially like a tangible financial goal, track it every single day and like constantly ask yourself like, okay, how can I get closer? How am I doing? What can I improve? Right. So for that win, visualization plus tracking and measuring what you're doing and if it's actually working. Later around like the May, June timeframe, I hit one of my net worth goals that I had when it comes to combined real estate equity, combined amount of money in the stock market, cash, all that stuff. Like big goal for me, big goal for me that I've been striving for the last like 5-6 years or so. Actually like 7 years that I've been striving for this, right? So I finally hit this goal. Still got a long way to go to where I want to be at like age 40, 50, 60, etc. But super, super pumped to be where we are right now. And honestly, a lot of things went into this, right? Like daily execution. Like for those of you who follow me, I have a rigorous morning routine, wake up early, hit the gym, review my goals. Like I haven't just been doing this for a year. I've been doing this since like 2019, right? 2018, 2019 timeframe. So that, right? The consistency of doing the right thing for the right amount of time, right? 3, budgeting, right? We can make a whole podcast about finances, but like I track my finances pretty aggressively. Like I can look back and see, I'm actually doing it right now as I'm recording. I can look back and see like exactly what I've spent going out to eat, the groceries, utilities. I can look back and see what I've spent in 2018, 2019, 2020, 21, 22, 23, 24, and right now in 2025, right? So one of the reasons why I was able to hit a lot of my financial goals is because like I have literally tracked every single dollar. 2 things there. One, it did take a little bit of time to set up this spreadsheet that I use. But it was one of those things like once I set up the spreadsheet, it was super, super easy just to plug and play your numbers of what you're spending. So if you do want this spreadsheet, hit me up on probably Instagram is the best avenue, Chris Chap. I try to respond within like 2 or 3 days. But budgeting, right? Huge aspect, tracking every single dollar where it went. And then I'd say the third thing is just increasing my income year over year. That's some advice that I received actually when I first graduated from somebody who was very successful that said, hey, one of the quickest, most efficient ways to become financially successful and hit your financial goals is by increasing your income year over year by at least 10%, because that's going to outpace inflation, but keep your expenses the same, right? So like maybe you're only saving 5% of your income per year. And you're like, could definitely do better. Well, let's say you increase your income next year by 10%, but you increase your income by you keep your expenses the same, right? Now you're saving 15% of your income, right? Then let's say after that, you increase your income 10%, but then you keep your expenses the same as they were like 3 years ago. Now you're saving like 25 to 30% of your income, right? Next thing you know, you're saving like 50% of your income, right? So do all you can to increase your income by 10% every year. Took that advice and ran with it, right? I have a whole episode on this. Like if you keep scrolling back, it's called How to Increase Your Income. It's literally like 6 steps that I've extracted from successful people who are much, much more successful than I am, where I would hope to be in the next like 10 to 20 years. And basically extracted, okay, the 6-7 things that I've seen these individuals do to ultimately increase their income, right? So all that said, track your money, increase your income, 2 massive, massive learning lessons there. And I'd say the third one, and I keep going back to this, but it's just like tracking what works and visualizing, right? Like I would track my net worth on, and I still do, on this app called Empower. It's actually a website as well. You create an account. I believe they now charge like $10-15 a month, but when I first did it, like they didn't have a ton of users. So fortunately, knock on wood, this still stays the same, but I don't pay anything a month to use this. But basically, you just like upload all of your accounts, like your checking, your saving, your stocks, your 401k, any real estate property that you own. And you can essentially just log in every day and it gives you a live daily glance into your net worth. Like it'll tell you how much cash you have, how much you have in investments. The beauty of it is like as you start to add more accounts, so like as you get, 401k, multiple investment accounts, real estate. Like instead of having to just track this all in a spreadsheet or log in every time and be like, okay, what's this account? Okay, let me add this up. How much do I have in this? It's like everything's just right there for you. So I think that was a big aspect of it as well. It's just like checking that app, honestly, like multiple times a week, just to kind of see like, okay, like how far am I from this goal, right? And then just going back and saying like, okay, what can I change? What can I do differently? All that stuff, right? But like, if you don't track it, if you don't measure it, you're not going to hit that goal that you want. So especially when it comes to your finances, like figure out some way, whether it's budgeting through Excel or any of the apps, figure out some way to track not only what you're spending, but also what your net worth is as well. Again, still have a long way to go to where I want to be like 10, 15, 20 years down the road, but am super happy with where we are at right now. And it does come from increasing the income, budgeting, tracking your net worth, all of those great things there. And then June, which was like a month ago, because we're currently recording in July. June didn't have like too many wins here. Honestly, I would just say like fitness is a big part of who I am, right? I know everybody listening to the podcast is probably pretty involved in fitness as well. I'd say I definitely just hit like some smaller PRs in the gym from like the amount of weight I was actually like lifting. A couple new things with running. Also tried a couple new like smaller fitness challenges and got those accomplished. So I thought that was pretty cool. And honestly, that just came from, working out harder, eating healthier, like drinking more water, just being super locked in with the routine. Like I already am, but like being even more locked in. So that was pretty cool. But no lessons there other than like just honestly more grit, more determination, more work. But anyway, those are the wins. Again, still have a long way to go to where I want to be from a long-term perspective. But I am extremely proud of these wins over the last year. And I know if you had to boil it down, it's just implementing the right habits, routines, behaviors, and just being extremely, extremely consistent with it, right? Like I wake up early every day, read every day, I go to the gym every day. Like I'm super locked in with the habits. And if you do that for 30, 60, 90, 120 days, 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 years in a row, like you'll be super, super impressed as to where you end up. And then extracting just a couple learning lessons from some setbacks. I'd say like the first setback this year for me was, again, I'm in a corporate sales job. Like I feel like I'm not going to hit the same numbers I will last year. And it's kind of a combination of a couple different things, but I think like I kind of came into the year and was like, okay, like, I'm going to probably have a similar year to last year. Right. But like, I did not let my foot off the gas from a work ethic perspective. Like I still been working like 8, 9, 10, 12-hour days. Right. But what I didn't do is like track everything as aggressively as I did last year of like tracking what works, tracking what doesn't work, tracking feedback, right? Tracking how far I am, right? I just kind of assumed like, I don't need to track this year. Like I just need to continue to put in the work. And now I'm like halfway through the year and I'm like, I built out this whole tracker again. I built out this like big list of like how far I am from this goal that I need to hit the sales awards trip. I'm like, man, like I should have done this like earlier in the year, because then I could just be like tracking every single day, week, month, how far I am from this, rather than now looking at it and being like, man, like it's halfway through the year. Number that I have to hit this award strip is still a little far out, but it's a little further than I'd like, versus like tracking it more consistently. It wouldn't have like snuck up on me so much. So there's that. Number 2, I think is, I think just being a little bit more worried than normal, right? Like we've personally had a lot of life changes. Like we moved houses to a whole new city, living down in Charleston, South Carolina now, which was a big win in 2024, moving down here because it's where we both wanted to be long-term. So I think that happened, bought a new car, found out we're pregnant, having our first kid. Like all these changes like happened within like a few months. And I think some part of me just continued to like get a little worried about like all these changes happening at once and like overthinking things. Didn't really impact me too much. Like again, mental health is something I'm like extremely passionate about. So like I was still locked in with reading. I was still locked in with reading the Bible and praying, and like was still very mentally strong. But like if I had to look back, I definitely worried a bit more than I did last year. So I think the learning lesson there is just like understand that number one, do all you can with who you are, with where you are, with what you have in life, right? Like the current situation, the current hand you're dealt, give it all you got, deal with it, and do the best you possibly can, right? Number two, I think, understanding that, if you have faith in Christ like I do, and, understand that like where you are right now is part of God's plan, and, leaning into that plan and trusting him, right? Through scripture, through prayer. And if you do get a little bit worried, Jesus calls us to not be anxious about anything about your life, right? Because he's in control. He has the plan in his hand. So I think for me, just like continuing to trust in that, scriptural advice, because it is true. And I think number three, to kind of solve that, is just being grateful, right? Like, I think part of the worry came from like, okay, like I hit these goals, I got the car, we moved to Charleston, and this and this and this, but like, now what? And I think you do need to be extremely ambitious if you want to be successful, but I definitely didn't give myself like ample time to just be present and grateful for all that I've accomplished, not just this last year, but like all the years leading up to this year. So I think that's another lesson as well. It's just like be present, accept your wins, right? And be thankful for them, but then jump back into like, okay, now what's next? I didn't really take the time to like be grateful for the wins. So that's definitely a lesson there. I'd say the other setback, honestly would be like, I'd say like probably scrolling too much on social media, right? Like for those of you who follow me on Instagram, like I post a good bit on stories. I don't post as much on like the typical post, but I do post a good bit of stories. I post about the podcast, personal development post, all that stuff. But I found that I would like post something and then I'd scroll for like 20 minutes. And then maybe I'd post something else and I'd scroll for like 20 minutes. And then looking at my screen time, I'm like, man, like, yeah, I think it's important to like unwind on the couch and maybe scroll for a little bit, see what we're all up to, right? But like not where you're just scrolling multiple times for 10, 15, 20-minute segments throughout the day. And I think that has held me back a good bit, right? Because it's like 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there, 15 minutes there don't sound like a lot because you're like, oh, like I'm eating some lunch. I got a 1 o'clock meeting. Like it's 12:40. I'm like, you know what? I'll scroll for like 10 minutes. And it's like, well, what else could you have done with that 10 minutes, right? Like could have made some more phone calls. I could have met with more clients. I could have maybe reached out to some podcast guests. I could have, read some more pages of my personal development book. I could have, going for an afternoon run, maybe got a second workout in, right? Like what could you be doing in that time? So I think that's just another setback, right? It definitely didn't cause any detriment to like how this year has been so far, but I do think I did leave some potential on the table by scrolling just a bit too much on social media. So, and that honestly came from some notes I took at the end of last year where I wrote down like a couple things that may have held me back from my potential. And one of them was too much social media scrolling. And I was like thinking about this year. I'm like, I think I've definitely scrolled a little bit too much continuously this year as well. Again, was it detrimental? Still was able to hit like some sick goals this year, but definitely left some potential on the table and definitely wasted a little bit of time. So that's it, guys. I just wanted to share a couple wins that I've had from a perspective of fitness, finances, business, a couple other things as well, and just extract a couple of learning lessons there. And then just wanted to be transparent and just talk a little bit about some of my setbacks, failures, and adversities, because everyone's going through something. Everyone has setbacks. Nobody's perfect in this world, right? So I think it's important to be authentic about how your life's truly going. But anyway, Hope this helped you out. Like I said at the beginning, what I really would recommend is keeping that wins folder, and then looking over those wins and seeing what lessons you can extract. But for real, that we have, about 6 months left of the year, right? So think about your yearly goals that you made back in like late December for 2025. And honestly, ask yourself, like, am I on track to reach these? If not, what can I change? How can I implement a different routine? Who can I surround myself with? Like, start asking yourself these questions, because we only have one life. And I believe it's of utmost importance to live that life to your fullest potential. Other than that, everyone, hope everyone has a fantastic week ahead. Thanks again for tuning in. Be sure to share this episode with a family member, friend, or colleague, and enjoy the rest of the month of July.